What's up, Dragon Brood? Today, we gotta have a heart-to-heart. Mostly because I see so many of you trying to get into the whole streaming content creation game, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. You should pursue your passions, and if you have something awesome to share, go for it. But, I'm not sure everybody's approaching it the correct way. And what I mean by that is, we're kind of all immediately rushing to Twitch. And don't get me wrong, this isn't for me to bash Twitch here and say that Twitch is awful and whatever. Like, Twitch has a purpose, it's there, and everybody knows about it. They're like the Coca-Cola of gaming streaming platforms, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I wonder how many people have really looked at the numbers and made the proper decision to end up on one of the other platforms. Well, let me try to give you some numbers around this before I go any further. So let's start by talking about the fact that Twitch is huge. Big enough that they had 760 plus million hours that got streamed on their channel last year, or on their network. Now, that's a big number, but what does that really mean? Well, take a look at the fact that they had 18 billion hours watched. Now, that number is gigantic. But what does it mean for you? Compare that to Facebook and YouTube that had 3 and 6 billion hours viewed. That's really a whole lot smaller when you compare those numbers. Let's take it a step further and even look at it. Let's just say percentages to kind of show you like what percentage of the market this makes up. And this is where the story starts to come into view a little bit. So when you look at it in terms of percentage, Twitch has 90% of the market when it comes to streaming hours put out by creators. But the important number is that they only own 66% of the hours viewed. That means a lot. That means when you go to stream on Twitch, you're going to have a lower percent chance of somebody seeing you compared to you would on the other platforms. Because again, let's look at another chart here. You can actually see that you're going to get more hours viewed per hour streamed on the other platforms. And that's where the big difference comes in. Because people talk about, well, I can't be found. I've been streaming every day. I've been putting in all this time for 6 months, 9 months. Like, this is part of the reason. There are tons of people on Twitch streaming. There's tons of people watching. But there's just a large number of both, and you're kind of caught in a sea of mess. Not that that's bad, that's success for Twitch. But that brings up the next portion I want to talk about, which is discoverability, right? Okay, so let's look at even just talking about how the platforms operate. When you're watching, well, let's say when you're using your phone for Facebook or YouTube, you're scrolling, you're looking at a lot of things. Things are coming by and things are getting recommended and you're checking out the next thing, and there's a network there. That doesn't really exist for how people operate with Twitch. Very few people on their phone scroll through a bunch of different possible streams that they want to watch. Honestly, they can't really even hone in on what they want to see. Whereas if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can put in specifically, hey, I want to search for Magic the Gathering, Teamfight Tactics, Call of Duty, whatever. Not just that you can find the game, because you can do that on Twitch as well, but then you can find specific things about each of those games. You can put something about the new update, or maybe a certain technique or tactic or deck or whatever it is that you're looking for information on, and you can find people streaming those exact things. You can find past videos that people have put up, right? But you can't do that on Twitch. So if I go and stream yesterday, and that VOD is there and saved and loaded, unless you specifically know me or the title or going to look for something from PowrDragn's channel on Twitch, you're never going to see that VOD. However, if I'm on Facebook or YouTube, videos I put up a week ago have actually gotten several views since I was last on, and I haven't streamed on Facebook in a week, right? Like, so that's kind of the difference here, right? People can still discover and find your information, and I've had people go and like my channel and follow things. And again, I haven't been on there in a week. That's the difference. And I think that's what people are missing. When you're trying to grow, like, you have to be somewhere where people can see you, discover you, connect with you. It's a lot harder for people to do when you're starting from the bottom on Twitch. Also, let me use myself as an example here. Just a couple days ago, we had a release of a new Magic expansion. I decided I was going to stream on 2 different platforms, in the morning and in the evening. So I did a YouTube stream in the morning. And it averaged about 150, 160 viewers the majority of the stream, which is pretty good. But then when I looked at the final numbers, it had over 2,000 views during that time. So people were coming and going, which tends to happen with streams. Not a big deal. When I stream later, which is actually my normal time slot to be streaming on Twitch, I averaged about 70-ish viewers. At the end of the whole thing, I'd seen something like 300 to 400 viewers. That's a huge difference. And here's the real thing, is that afterwards, that video I had up continued to get views on YouTube. It has not on Twitch. And I think that's one of the biggest things people kind of let go under the radar, is that yes, I get it. It's easy to say like Twitch is a thing we know, it's what we're used to, it's what we go to. But in reality, these other two platforms have ways to be discovered. Again, I streamed last week on Facebook when the new Teamfight Tactics expansion came out. So with the update, I titled my video, Teamfight Tactics 11.2 patch, blah, 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 and people have found it since. And I'm not even huge on Facebook. You know, and this isn't to just bash Twitch again, but I'm saying if you're starting out, and I want to say this, let me preface this with the fact that I actually have a little group and community I have cultivated through Twitch. So it's not like I'm going in and I average like 55, 60 viewers per stream. It's not like I'm not doing anything on Twitch. And honestly, I think it's in your benefit to be on multiple platforms to grow your market. You can send people from one to the other or cross-brand them as necessary or be part of different things that are going on community-wise within each platform. That's a bonus thing for you. But I think just people saying, well, no, I don't necessarily want to stream on YouTube. I don't necessarily want to stream on Facebook. Well, the reality is that might be where your best actions are. Even think about how the platforms interact. If you're on Facebook, there's a whole network there. Anybody looking for something or something similar, it's going to recommend it to them. Or, hey, you already like this other channel, maybe you like this. Like, there's going to be a lot of that goes on that gets people to see your stuff. And that's both live and just loaded videos. Or your past VODs or whatever clips you've shared. All that stuff can be seen just the same. And even YouTube they made an announcement last week, I believe it was, that they're going to be implementing clips soon that you'll be able to share and everything else. So that'll be another tool you have. And again, on YouTube, you have people that are just going to find an old video, they're going to find a review you put up, and then that's going to lead to you getting more subscribers, to watching more of your streams, and eventually resulting in more income. That's not a thing you get on Twitch. It's just not. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not. Not a single time have I had somebody say, oh, well, I was looking for, whatever was in your title. I'm glad you're on today. It's just not a thing. But I can tell you, when I was streaming just the other day for YouTube, I had somebody say, oh, it's cool. I was saw the thing pop up for your stream. I'll probably go watch that later. But honestly, more than anything, it's just the numbers. When you just look flat out, you have a better chance of being seen. When you compare the number of hours viewed to the number of hours streamed, it's a 3.5, 4 to 1 difference when you're talking about Twitch. The other thing I want to point out too is one of the fastest growing categories on Twitch is actually just chatting. It's not even gaming. Not that Twitch is cutting out gaming, it's just that Twitch is becoming an even more jumbled place. Now, that being said, we could say the same thing about Facebook and YouTube. Just pointing it out to say that it's not just streaming for gaming anymore, which is a thing that people are really going there initially to try to make their name in. Now it's a little bit of everything. So the market's just different. And honestly, if you're already on Twitch, great. Keep doing it. If it's working out for you and community's building, awesome. But I would recommend maybe start a Facebook page for your channel. Maybe start a YouTube channel. And see what you can build up there as well. Because having access to more people is never a bad thing. One thing to consider as well is that people only interact with one platform sometimes. I have people that specifically don't use Twitch that watch my stuff on YouTube every day. I have people that use Facebook that don't use Twitch. I have people that use YouTube that don't use Facebook, right? That's just the way it is. I'm not saying one's necessarily better than the other. I just think if you're worried about being discovered, having your work be seen, maybe being on Twitch is not your best bet. But let me know down in the comments what your experiences are. They might be different than mine. Maybe you think my numbers are crazy. But I think it's a conversation we need to be having within our gaming communities, because maybe Twitch is not the best starting point in 2021. If you haven't, please remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because that helps me out and helps you out. But that's all I have for now. We'll see you next time.